Hello, we are watching VNA News Agency's Daily Bulletin. Up next are the headlines.
President Chu Tấn-sang meets voters in Ho Chi Minh City. Vietnam attends ASEAN Economic Ministers Retreat in Thailand. Vietnam welcomes over 833,000 foreign visitors in February.
On March the 3rd, State President Chu Tấn-sang and a group of National Assembly deputies met voters in District 1, Ho Chi Minh City, to hear their petitions ahead of the upcoming 11th session of the legislature.
Voters were informed that the last meeting of the 13th National Assembly, scheduled to take place on March 21st, will focus on lawmaking, directions for socio-economic development, personnel work, and summarizing the operations of the 13th tenure. Several important bills are planned to be discussed and approved, including the law on information access, the revised law on signing, joining, and implementing international treaties, laws on journalism, child protection, care and education, and pharmacy law. At the meeting, President Sang said he hopes that the city's voters will continue to elect qualified people to represent them and uphold their democratic rights at meetings. He asked the voters to continue to make recommendations, as well as point out shortcomings to be settled by the city's deputies. The president also expressed his belief that the deputies elected for the next tenure will work harder for the sake of the people.
Also on March the 3rd, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng chaired a meeting with leaders of relevant ministries, agencies and localities to deliberate a report on the adjustment of the construction planning for Hanoi Capital Region by 2030 with a vision towards 2050. Speaking at the event, Prime Minister Dũng asked localities in the region to maximize their advantages for the region's development, especially potentials in land and tourism, as well as actively attract various investment sources to upgrade the socio-economic infrastructure system and improve people's lives. He stressed the need to exploit effectively land areas along rivers, guarantee safety of dikes, as well as improve our river and lake systems in the region. Prime Minister Dũng asserted the mobilization of investment resources to develop the socio-economic infrastructure system, especially road and railway systems in the capital city, to facilitate trading activities and travel in accordance with expanding airports in the region for the economic development and national defense and security. The government leader also asked for establishing modern and concentrated industrial parks and ensuring the environmental sanitation. The 22nd ASEAN Economic Ministers Retreat officially opened in Chiang Mai province of Thailand on March the 3rd. Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Nguyễn Cẩm Tú led the Vietnamese delegation to the event.
The annual meeting aims to discuss orientations and priorities for economic cooperation within the bloc towards the successful building of the newly established ASEAN Economic Community. The event focuses on ways to accelerate negotiations on the regional comprehensive economic partnership with several trading partners, namely China, the Republic of Korea, Japan, India, Australia, and New Zealand. Cooperation in the framework of free trade agreements between the group and its partners will be on the agenda. The ministers will also debate on how to make ASEAN a larger market to links in production, manufacture, and trade and investment among the bloc's member nations, and promote stronger investment from the private economic sector. Later the same day, the Vietnamese delegation presided over a consultation session between ASEAN economic ministers and representatives from the EU commercial delegation.
The flow of remittances to Ho Chi Minh City exceeded $900 million in the first 2 months of this year. More details in the following report.
The Ho Chi Minh City branch of the State Bank of Vietnam unveiled that most of the remittances flow into production and business. Industry insiders said that the remittances were poured significantly into the city, thanks to the recovery of domestic investment channels, especially real estate. A significant amount of the remittances was sold to commercial banks thanks to the stability of the local foreign exchange rate. Experts forecast that the remittances to Ho Chi Minh City this year would continue to be optimistic, reaching roughly $5.5 billion, the same as last year, thanks to the city's economic growth. To attract more remittances, besides the government's policies to encourage overseas Vietnamese to invest in their homeland, domestic commercial banks have also put on many promotional programs for their money transfer services. According to a recent World Bank report, Vietnam received nearly $12.3 billion in remittances in 2015. The country is the 11th largest recipient of remittances worldwide and ranks third in the Asia-Pacific region after China and the Philippines.
Vietnam customs sector collected 2.60 trillion dong, roughly $89.6 million through post-clearance inspection in 2015. This is the first time the figure has exceeded the 2 trillion benchmark.
Last year, customs officers nationwide conducted post-clearance checks over nearly 7,600 cases. They imposed taxes and fines of 2.18 trillion Vietnam dong, almost doubling the figure in 2014. By the year end, the targeted enterprises paid 2.16 trillion Vietnam dong, equivalent to 135% of the set target for the whole year. Since the beginning of this year until mid-February, customs officers conducted 234 inspections, including 46 ones at firms' offices. They imposed an additional tax of over 82 billion Vietnam dong and administrative violation fines of 12 billion Vietnam dong. To date, the businesses have paid 80 billion Vietnam dong out of the total sum. This year, the customs sector is planning to increase the number of inspections at business headquarters by 10 to 15% over 2015.
Vietnam holds huge potential for renewable energy, but its development is hindered by inadequate mechanisms, limited technologies, and the lack of funding.
Participants at the March 2nd workshop in Ho Chi Minh City shared the common view, stressing that the country's reliance on imported equipment and products in the field and the lack of a research and training system have resulted in low management capacity. The high cost for renewable energy projects is also a big challenge to the sector. Renewable energy is the best solution to deal with the country's energy shortage. Solar energy is abundant with an average solar radiation of 5 kWh per meter per day across the country, while biomass output from agricultural production and waste are estimated at 10 million tons per year. The Vietnamese government has adopted the National Strategy on Energy Development to 2020 with the vision towards 2030, which aims to raise the proportion of renewable energy from 3% of the total power generation output in 2010 to 5% in 2020 and 11% in 2050.
Experts and policymakers from East Asian countries discussed how to build environmentally sustainable cities at a seminar that opened in Hanoi on March the 3rd.
The high-level seminar on environmentally sustainable cities is the flagship cooperative initiative by 18 East Asia Summit participating countries to foster concrete activities on environmentally sustainable cities in the region. Vietnamese Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Võ Tuấn Nhân, said the seminar, the seventh of its kind, takes place following an array of the world's important events relating to environmental protection and sustainable development. He cited the Paris Agreement reached by 195 nations at COP21 in Paris last year as an example. During the two-day seminar, delegates shared their experience to help the member countries establish and maintain a regional environmentally sustainable cities network more effectively. They will also compare notes on challenges hindering the development of environmentally sustainable cities, such as environmental protection, climate change, biodiversity, and water security. Over the past year, 3 of Vietnamese cities have received the ASEAN Environmentally Sustainable Cities Award, such as Hạ Long in Northern Province, Da Nang and Huế in the Central Region.
More than 833,000 foreign tourists visited Vietnam in February, a 3.5% increase from the previous month. More in the following report. The General Statistics Office said the latest edition has brought the number of foreign arrivals to the country in the first 2 months to approximately 1.64 million, representing a year-on-year increase of 16%. Foreign arrivals by air rose 14.2% year-on-year to 1.33 million, and those by road increased 31.3% to 288,000. However, arrivals by sea declined 22% to 24,200. During the period, the number of Asian holidaymakers increased 20.3% to over 1.1 million. European visitors rose by 7.5% to 296,000. Vietnam hopes to welcome 8.5 million foreign visitors and 60 million domestic travelers by the end of this year, earning a total of $16.8 billion in revenue. A contest to design the logo for the 2017 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum hosted by Vietnam next year was officially launched on March the 3rd.
The contest, organized by the Agency for Fine Arts, Photography and Exhibition under the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, is launched for professional and amateur artists nationwide. Accordingly, the contest winning entry will be used as official logo of the 2017 APEC year and other APEC-related activities in Vietnam. According to the organizing board, the sample must reflect APEC's idea of a cooperative region, the cultural identity of Vietnam, and other factors relating to the contents of the 2017 APEC year. The organizing board will receive entries until April the 4th. More information is available on the website www.ape.gov.vn.
The Belgium Embassy, the UN Women and the Vietnam Women's Museum have co-hosted a ceremony to award winners of a satirical drawing contest on gender equality in Hanoi.
Belgian Ambassador to Vietnam, Jean Rucas, said the organizing board was thrilled as more than half of the entries were from females. The high quality of submissions makes it hard for the board to decide, and the drawings, even with their descriptions, still evoke laughter, thoughts and tears, she added. According to the diplomat, the competition reflected Vietnamese people's interest in the issue of gender equality. Nguyễn Vũ Xuân Lan from Ho Chi Minh City won the first prize. The prize included a trip to Belgium to meet its Deputy Prime Minister, professional painters, and popular local publishers. My picture indicates inequality between men and women in businesses and organizations. In the picture, the main character is an authorized person who should practice to ensure gender equality. However, this person purposefully titles in favor of men.
You know how we see the women this day, and since the Women International Day is coming up, I think it is very good timing to create awareness, for.
The contest, the first of its kind in Vietnam, opened for submissions from November 25, 2015 to January 18, 2016, with 116 illustrations submitted nationwide. The competing satires posted online received 10,000 votes from local audiences.
And that has come to an end of our bulletin. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.